All right, so let's call to order the work session of the Lower Suffolk Township Board of Supervisors, July 2nd, 2024 meeting. If everyone could join me in a pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Thank you. Brings us to our public discussion period. Is there anyone wishing to be recognized? None, we will move on. Mr. Jones, Public Works Director.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just an update on the project. Roberts Road Bridge. I met with Danielle and Chad Ingles last week about the turnaround that's proposed by the county. Part of the abandonment of Roberts Road Bridge. Danielle Ingles is here today. The Ingles would like the turnaround to be relocated more up towards Castle Road, further away from the bridge. There's big concerns with access to the remaining portion of their property because of some grading concerns and grading issues and encroachment on their existing pasture fence. Landscape buffering, some trees that would be lost. So we looked at some locations and thought, Mike, if you could pull that up, please. That they would prefer it somewhere in the kind of the immediate vicinity of their barn, which is already partially paved stone kind of an area.
Compliments what's going to be done.
I think it has some benefit, has some merit. And I mean, one of the concerns from the Ingles is the view shed from their home, which is further to the right. You know, if having that quasi cul-de-sac.
Turn back way. So are we talking about just really, they already have the driveway, but that basically this area is being the turnaround?
Right.
Because beyond that, it's only the driveway to the other neighbors plus access to your pasture, correct? What's the old farmhouse? Where's the driveway for the other, isn't there? Oh, it's up. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I think it has some benefits,
Right.
you know, be that county, because relocate or putting the cul-de-sac in, you know, closer to the bridge creates concerns with floodwaters and possibly, you know, damage to the road or flooding events. That moving it further out of the, almost out of the floodplain, but definitely out of the, you know, the dangerous and impactful floodwaters. They wouldn't need to put a curbing around it like we asked them to, so there's a cost savings there. They may not have to do as much utility relocation. I think it would be more palatable from obtaining the right of way. So that might be a benefit to the county.
The encumbrance of the easement on their driveway, is that, I mean, if they want to park their trailer there, is that gonna be?
Well, that's what my concern with them is that, you know, with them was that, you know, it can't be a parking lot.
Right.
And they're agreeable to
Can
that.
they go to the left on that road there at all? Just to open it up on that side, I know you moved some trees there, but I don't know
I think it's more floodplain that,
oh, there is how big a turnaround are you looking to put back here?
well, I think what they need to, I think it's like a 25 by 75 piece of property that they need to acquire, piece of right of way that they need to acquire. We have the plans from last month, and then you weren't here.
One of us, what I don't want to have happen for the Ingles and at the end of a road that has 3 houses on it is an over-engineered turnaround for something that hasn't existed but needed.
Basically, it's a minimal area. It's got basically an area to do a multi-point turn.
So it's not a total, it's really doing okay, there we go. Good.
Ms. Ingles, this is exactly why we said last week, we're so glad you, from our perspective, the county saying we need to do this turnaround, but we want to make it best for you all. My question then, Doug, I guess, and I like this idea, especially since you guys are on board with it too. Would we have signage or something just in case somebody fails to turn around there and continues to go down? Obviously, you would assume a trash receptacle, somebody would be familiar, goes in there often, but somebody could still go in there. If they pass that, then what's going to happen? I'm guessing the county would put up some kind of sign like you must stop here. That would be my only thing that I would wonder about there.
Yeah, I mean, there's something we could Well, actually, as part of that, we would ask them to remove the.
I was just
I was
saying,
gonna get
does
to it.
the road need to exist any further down?
There could be, there's something as simple as, collective delineators that are around at the end, just to let people know that, yeah, the road doesn't continue any further. So.
They met with the county, was the county receptive to all this and everything?
Can't do this yet, but everyone gets some feedback from everyone involved first, but. Other than the possibility of maybe having to do some additional survey, because their survey. Yeah, kind of ended right at the Ingalls barn or a little further, but. I don't think it's,
I would say I would also just, even that pork chop that they're making to the right on that design. It may even be too large for what you need to do for whether I would just minimize the design if you
we've asked
can
them to keep it as small as possible.
Yeah.
They did.
and eliminate the sign pollution.
So there are, with the fire truck, it's a multi-point turn that they have to make to turn around. Trash trucks, it would just be a simple K-turn. But yeah, I think it's workable. I think it's minimized, and I think it would be, we could get them to relocate it to basically to where Mike has the arrow.
And it's less road to maintain. In the future.
My only concern was, and I don't think this is a real issue, is if PennDOT would ever come back with shortening the road and, impact on liquid fuels funding, but I think that's minimal and probably highly unlikely that it would even become an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's, okay with that?
The singles, anything to add? Fantastic.
We're good?
Thank you for being.
Okay.
So, you would, and like they were saying, you wouldn't be able to park there any. Your trail. I mean, if they widen that out a little bit, you could probably just move it over towards where it says gate. Or even have a stoned area inside the gate there or whatever, that you can put your trailers. Just a thought.
The barn sits pretty close to where that
Yeah,
that
Yeah.
gravel area is, so. Not a whole lot of extra room there, but I think there's enough to do what they need to do
Yeah.
to make this work.
How often do you see traffic go down that has to turn around still?
Only in front, and
Okay,
it's because the bridge is not considered closed on Google Maps.
Right.
So they can go to Skip Back Creek Farm. But other than that, you're getting your own roads.
Don't let those get in the way. Sounds good.
keep us updated with the county out today. Thank you, Doug. Yeah.
Moving on, street light upgrade, finally received the final payment application and closeout information. From consultant, so we'll be trying to figure all that out, make sure everything's good and try to close out this project. The 2024 road program, Cape Seal, starting today. All the letters were sent out, signs are posted, no parking signs, and door hangers were distributed by the contractor as well, so that works moving forward. We're starting to work on Indian Creek Road. We got, this is the section from 113 down to the quarry. Got inlet replacement that needs to be done, some shoulder work that needs to be done. In advance of that surfaced as well. Working on right of way acquisition for the Oak Drive right turn lane extension. Gearing up for storm pipe work on Freed Road and some other locations. Department activities, done a lot of work in the parks and public grounds, finished our mowing of the meadows and our roadsides. Really taking a hard look this year, moving forward on our meadows, see if we can reduce the amount of mowing that we need to do. We have a lot of meadows that we mow. And I kind of scratch my head and say, why do we need to mow them, or why are we mowing them twice a year? Is once a year enough? Can we do something else like what we're doing with the Alderfer Road basins? To make them more of a wildflower type of a meadow that only requires mowing once a year. And even some is, would it be the worst thing if they were to grow back into woodlands? eventually. We've got some properties that are surrounded by woodlands and we still mow. So I'm gonna take a hard look at that and see whether or not, there, we can reduce the effort that we need to put into that.
That makes sense. I mean, and the woodlands have, the meadows are great, but the woodlands have an even better value from a stormwater standpoint for the riparian corridors for. And I know we don't get really credit from the MS4, but it is an enhancement to the stream corridors as well.
Oh, we get benefit if we put some trees in?
Yeah, if you did, and if you did the, and you can get the no-till drill through the county conservation district, and if you do the wild, like if you do an intentional meadow with the right mix of stuff, you can get credit for that.
Yeah.
For as meadow restoration, rather than just field cut. Yeah,
We're looking into all those options at this point. Doing a number of inlet repairs. Also the Alderford Park Electric, we're still waiting for Pico to get that service installed. And Moyer Road is scheduled for Nova Chip resurfacing this year, so we're with our new capabilities that we have in-house, we're looking at doing the ADA ramps at the intersection of Bell and Pondview. And then also at Farmview and Cricket as well. So there's ADA ramp work that we're pursuing at this point. That is all that I have. Be happy to answer any questions.
One question with the electric, and I know we've talked about it before, it just occurred to me now, and Kent, you would have some. Is there any way with this electric to have an opportunity to maybe have some outlets and say the pavilion? I know we do rent our pavilions and sometimes I've heard people, oh, we like to rent out Heckler. Because there's power there, or read, I think it's power, but I was just curious, if that electricity is just specifically, I know it's for the camera. But if there's any possibility to have that.
We could extend conduit from the existing, the second pole location, the camera pole location near the playground. And extend it over to the pavilion to provide power there, if that's something that.
And this is something I'm for that, obviously, but I would say the park board might want to discuss, but.
Yeah, I would think that it's, if it's possible, at some point, it'd be a great addition.
Yeah, I think if we can take advantage of that, we might as well, could help with the rentals.
rental, yeah, good idea.
Thank you.
Anything else for Mr. Jones?
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you, Doug. Moving right along. Sergeant Moyer, good morning.
Morning. The only thing I have is just letting the board know that pending the final approval for the solicitation ordinance amendment. Prepared to forward and publish that. In social media, every other means possible to get that properly going.
Thank you.
Moving right along then, Mr. Buki, building and zoning.
Mr. Chairman. So far, for the month of June, we had 69 permits that were issued, which is practically half of what we had last month. So we're back on track, but we're still up on the average for this year. So the last planning commission, we saw 392 Oak Drive subdivision, and that is a minor subdivision across from the Stormfield subdivision. And it's a 2-lot subdivision and it received a recommendation for approval at the planning commission level. So you'll see that at your August meeting. Okay. Also, the planning commission discussed the zoning hearing board application that we have for 193 Kinsey Road. And I'm here to discuss that with the board right now to see whether or not the board wants to take any position regarding the zoning hearing board application. And the synopsis of this particular application is that the property owner wants to construct a 2-car garage on their property, which is closer than the required side yard setback. Since the garage is proposed to be between 100 and 500 square feet, it needs to be 10 feet from the property line. And I'm sorry, it needs to meet the side yard setbacks of a principal structure. And the side yard setback 40 feet is proposing 5 feet. And it also happens to be where the existing driveway is currently. And I have the plans here. like the screen. Share the screen here. Okay, so this is the existing survey. Okay, this is Kinsey Road. And this is the existing house, existing pool, and there's the cleanouts for existing sanitary facilities, which the owner claims is part of his hardship. This is the existing driveway, and this is the location where he wants to get the new car detached garage. And let me pull up the plot plan here. This is the plot plan of that two-car garage. As you can see, it's over top of the existing paved area, 25-foot setback. This is the 40-foot setback line over here. Also, no, I'm sorry, it's right here, yep. This is the 40-foot setback line right here. And that's it. It's pretty, from that perspective, it's a pretty simple application.
I had nothing to offer to the zoning hearing board. I figured they'd take a look at it, you know, have it so to me.
Well, because they're an independent board, we can take a position either for or against the application or neither. So
That's why I do not see it as worth the township resources to send the solicitor in opposition.
Is there anyone in favor of sending? Got your answer there.
Okay, we are neutral.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And at the last meeting, for 480 and Burleysville Pike, so they came in and a sketch plan level again. They keep coming in, the sketch plan, it's not a required process, but they keep doing it, and now they tweaked the 26 dwelling unit plan that they had and received further comments. So now it's up to them whether or not they're gonna make full submission. We assume that they will because they've taken it this far. Okay, but we have to.
Excellent. Any questions for Mike?
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Chakowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only item under the manager's report, this morning is a review of the minutes from June 5th. Your packet. Question, comments, or correction? Okay, a review of tomorrow night's agenda.
I feel like I have to look it over again.
It's like a wall that.
Everybody who was there was there.
As mentioned by Sergeant Moyer, the ordinance 2024-03 solicitation ordinance amendment, consideration to adopt on the agenda. And a new business authorization to advertise for the Arley Grant Lower Suffolk Township multi-roads safety striping and signaling project. As you recall, this was a grant the township received to stripe a number of roads that have with bike lanes and so forth for making it more safety for those type of uses. Next item is the authorization to advertise for the PennDOT traffic signal technologies and Green Light Go grants. This is for the upgrade to the adaptive traffic signal control system. And finally, the authorization to advertise the 2024 construction equipment rental contract at prevailing wage, as Mr. Jones has discussed with you previously. Other than that, there's nothing else on the agenda other than to say that the township office will be closed July 5th. Most of the employees frankly had asked for a day off, and so everyone's taking a day off that day.
Good plan.
It's usually a pretty slow day, especially a Friday, being a holiday. Everybody's kind of sure.
We need to forward the call. That's up.
You get it. Done.
I am the complaint department. Do we have a need this morning for executive session?
We do.
Very good, then we will take take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So say nay. See everyone tomorrow night.